everybody, it's Thursday.
And welcome to this week's edition of The Night Bite.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Emily. Thanks for being here with us tonight.
Are we in the frame? We were scooting around chairs.
That's what we're laughing about, is we were scooting chairs all over the place. Earlier in the week, I had moved the camera. Don't tell Josh that I said that. That's why we can't quite find the right place tonight. So, it's okay. We'll make it work.
Yeah.
So with that, we do like to have guests on all the time. But sometimes you guys are stuck with us because that's the way that it goes. And honestly, scheduling people for every single week gets to be tough because lo and behold, people have lives.
Well, except for us, I guess.
Well, yeah, well, right. That's true. So thanks for taking your time and spending your life with us. If you guys have specific things that you want to chat about while we're here, feel free to put that in the comment section. We will, talk about that because there's plenty of time. But we do always kind of start with a fishing report.
Yes.
So we can do that.
Yeah. Start us off.
It's a funny way to
I'm
do
not
that.
I'm not gonna talk about it because I didn't catch hardly any fish. You caught all the fish. You tell me in the fishing report.
That's why I am laughing. It's a tough week to, spend a little bit of time on the fishing report because there's a lot of weeks where Josh and I catch either a very even number of fish or, some days Josh catches a few more than me. But Saturday especially, it was pretty one-sided in the boat. And, it's always frustrating to be the person who's not catching fish, but you've got to realize it's also frustrating to be the person who is the one catching fish because it's hard to pass on and share, what specifically did you do in that moment? How do you capture those little details to help other people catch fish? So one of the things that Josh helped do actually is, I think part of it was boat position. Our weather actually was not too crazy. It was not the windiest day that we've seen this year, which I feel like we say a lot of times. But one of the things that we noticed, it's all technique. The fish were kind of beginning to school. I'm talking about these bigger bluegills. The fish were in kind of really tight schools just off of the brush. And so what was happening is Josh was doing a really great job kind of pinpointing some of this brush, but that we have a 16-foot boat. And so when his graph is on the structure, for example, and then maybe my graph is a little bit off, and I was seeing these schools just outside and they were very, very tight schools. So being able to target them was a big key to this weekend. Used all of my Widowmaker cannonball jigs because some of them did get stuck in the brush. So what am I going to do with the rest of fall if I don't have cannonballs left? We're going to really have to think about that.
You got to talk to Brian and Tim. We got to get Tim. Tim, paint us some cannonballs up. We're ordering.
I was using just a silver one. It just was as plain as could be.
No, but you're right. The thing about Saturday was there was literally not enough room for how the brush was positioned and the wind was coming from for both of us to be on it. I could have came up to the front of the boat. It just gets squishy. So, you just kind of work through it, and she was catching a bunch of fish, and that was fine. I guess the most frustrating part for me was all the other stuff, Like I set my rod down, and then I go to pick it up, and it's wrapped around all the other 3 rods that I have sitting down there, and it's like, how did you even do that? But, you have those days,
That brings up an interesting point, though. In Wisconsin here, a lot of you guys are in other places, so let us know how many rods you can use. But here in Wisconsin, we can use 3. And I find myself often using, honestly, 1 rod because between the wind or between having the control of the rod, I just don't find myself even needing 2 more than that. There's some days where, especially when the wind is calm or you can toss a bobber out and have a jig rod, I definitely will get that second rod out. And, that can be a whole lot of fun. But the thing that I notice about Josh is he will almost always put 3 rods out there. And that, to me, it gets hard to control. So, let us know what you guys do. Do you use all of your rods that you're allotted, or you just, scale back to 1 or 2 like that?
Yeah. So while we're waiting for that, just want to throw this out there. Put your comments. John Holtman is waiting for the Kings to come in down by Milwaukee. So, that would be a fun bite. Also, just for all you guys out there, we do have a YouTube channel that we stream on too, and we've got a bunch of other stuff over there. So take a check over there when you get a chance. But I don't know. I guess I only set out my 3 rods when I'm not catching a bunch of fish. You can only control. I only have 2 hands. But when I'm not catching a bunch of fish, it is nice to be able to have the opportunity to put out 3 different baits, 3 different presentations. We do have some vertical rod holders that we have on our boat when we can swap rods out in and out. We don't have them laying all over the deck, but it was just one of those days. We're not, you turn around and everything is just not going your way, and that that happens. And it's especially frustrating when it's windy and stuff. But Sunday we went back out.
Well, wait a minute. You're missing even some of the best part of that day.
Okay, tell your story again.
I just love this because it's something that we've learned. Love it too. It's something that we've learned this year. Being over some of these different brush piles and some of these lakes, you notice, sometimes there's a school of bass that come through. They're chasing minnows. Sometimes you just see the minnows kind of flip-flopping around. But sometimes you see even like the baby bass come, they're eaten. One of the things that we realized is in this lake, they're swimming with some of these smaller bass are actually, well, probably some bigger bass mixed in too. I guess I haven't seen that, but there's crappies mixed in. Mm-hmm. We just started to realize, they are cruising along with these minnows and with these smaller bass. And that makes kind of a lot of sense to me. And there's been times where I've seen quite a few, jumping around. In this case, Saturday, mm-hmm. we were sitting in the boat and we hear a big splash. Honestly, I saw it. Beautiful crappie. Whew. Chasing after minnows. We have this new thing. Well, I guess it's not new. I guess I don't do it very often because I just don't think about it. But, we're sitting in 20, 23 feet of water, and I took my bobber, put it all the way down to like a foot or maybe 2, casted it over there. A little like a white lychee type plastic, I want to say. But, jig it in. Right when I thought it was like never going to happen. And then my bobber went down, and right there, that caught that crappie that I saw. So, watch your surroundings, but even, be observant about, I assumed, oh, for sure, it's only bass, and it's not. And that's been actually a really fun thing to explore this summer.
Mm-hmm. Man, we got a bunch of comments rolling in here. John's with me on this one. When it's slow, he puts all the rods out. When he picks up, you got to scale down. Jay, look at this guy. All kinds of rods.
4 rods. 2
hair jigs. That's something. I got into tying a couple of years ago, and I like to do that in the winter. It's fun. I kind of slowed down on it just a tad, just because we got into dabbling into plastics and some other things. But the hair jigs it's a good point to bring up, especially in the fall, because that's something that even you can throw a big 3-inch hair jig and catch big bass and big crappies with it, and so that's something I should probably tie a few up of.
Josh always jokes about using some of Finn's hair to tie up as a jig because she's all black and brown. And it is time for a little bit of a haircut for Finn going into the fall here. So that would be kind of funny. Maybe ridiculous. So we'll see. Funny how you skipped Eric's comment because he's on the 1 rod at a time train. But he does note about ice season and going for tip-ups. And I got to say that is also a totally different situation because in ice season, I do only use the 1 jig rod at a time. But I do really like putting out tip-ups or even like a snare rod. We've been getting into that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Eric, I did not mean to skip over you. I just saw 4 rods. No, but
I
but I do agree. Like utilizing all your lines during the winter, is very fun. Because you can cover. Not only can you cover more fish, but you can cover a number of fish. And maybe that's something that you and I should look into during the summer. Nothing says we can't just bring a big rod out there and put a big sucker bobber out while that's like a tip up, right?
Yeah, I do multi-species fish. I have a rod with a little teeny tiny tungsten and tiny plastic, and then I have a rod with like a 16th, jig, or and then like a little plastic. I can fish for bluegills and crappies at the same time.
Yeah, but I'm saying, what I'm saying, like a tip up, like a tip up. So you throw the big orange bobber out there, or stick bobber, whatever you got, with a sucker minnow. Maybe put one of your little bluegills on there, let it swim around. Who knows? That might be a fun thing. You might catch a big pike or a muskie. We have muskies around us.
We do.
Mm-hmm. Flatheads. Something.
Get a flathead. That would be a lot of fun. Speaking of that, we do. We're thinking about stopping in the river this coming weekend. If you are around the Wolf River, or I guess if you are on a different river, let us know where you're at. But I'm going to be out there looking for crappies this weekend because I think the water's gone down quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what we heard. A great page to follow is the Red Banks Resort page. The owners of that resort, we've only stopped at the resort once.
Yeah, that's true.
To launch our boat, we might have had a bite to eat. But we follow their page because they put out a great Wolf River report for that stretch of river. They keep their eye and ears out, along. And if you follow the Fremont Bait and Tackle page and you follow the Red Banks Resort page, you'll learn all you want to know about the Wolf River, except for exactly where to catch them. But you'll know what's biting. That's for sure.
That is for sure. And I kind of looked back at my pictures from last year because I always remember fall like starting earlier than it really does.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, we still might have more time for the river water temps to cool down before some of that bite really turns on. I think right now the current report is like 65-degree water temps or something like that, 66, but that the water levels have dropped a lot. So, that's going to affect. At least fish are pushed back out of those shallows a little bit and into that fishable area because we were there a few weeks ago and it was just the water was too high that those fish were too shallow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys probably heard this all week last week from us, and I'll say it again, there's boats up in the forest. So, that always makes for tough fishing when the water's that high, but it's come down quite a bit. We're definitely not complaining. We've had quite a bit of water, and that's kind of nice. But it's time for fall fishing to start. School up those fish.
Well, and do you remember what were the water temps at the lake this past week?
Water temps at the lake were about between 60 and 63. And the river was 65.
Mm-hmm. A little bit warmer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, we'll see how that goes. One of the interesting things that did also happen to us this weekend, we were talking about how that bite was on Saturday. Overnight between last Saturday and last Sunday, we were supposed to get rain that kind of never really showed up. And then there was like a 5% chance of rain for Sunday. And so we went out and lo and behold, wouldn't you know that we got rained on.
Yeah.
Actually like more than I thought that we would. So that was really interesting. I always hear people saying about how much success they have fishing in the rain. And I got to tell you,
I agree, Andy.
It was really a tough day. And things had really changed quick from the day before.
Mm-hmm.
So, the patterns of schools of fish that we saw were honestly changed. They were not in those same locations. They moved overnight. So one of the things we did is looked at the direction of the wind and we went where all the waves were going. We did mark more fish there, actually quite a bit more fish there and even shallower than we thought, shallower than they were the day before. But we only were really getting bites from, I don't even know if I'd call them eaters. Like, I can't call them tiny fish, but I'd never seen so many mediocre fish come out of that lake.
Well, they're definitely not the Saturday Emily caliber fish she was used to catching. But we did catch, 7 to 9 inch bluegills are not anything to whine about. Great fish, but they just weren't in the mood. It was that system moving through. Anytime you get that low pressure come through, it can be good for a little bit, and then it just kind of makes them go, meh.
Yeah.
So,
well, and Andy's actually making a really great point. 65 to 68 degree water temps here with strong thermocline. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what we are seeing as thermoclines around between 15 and 20 feet in some places. But I think that's one of the reasons that we're finding fish. We have some slightly clearer water. And so those weed lines go out, 12, 15 feet sometimes. It's like kind of crazy. Yeah. And so with that thermocline being at like 15 feet, like you're saying, that really is making for interesting transitions for the fish. Some you'll find mid-lake, they're on that thermocline, but then some are like equally in deep weeds. And it's like interesting.
Yeah.
Sometimes we talk about the correlation there is eating fish versus not. If there's more forage up in the weeds, maybe those are the biting fish. But like we said, it wasn't necessarily super more successful for us.
Well, and the other thing on Sunday that we noticed was there's lots of schools of emerald shiners, and that's in the one lake we were fishing. They must be coming through the stream because normally you get common shiners, but these are all emerald shiners. They're the longer, skinnier shiners. They're big schools on the top of the water, and it almost looked like a wind ripple, but it was actually a school of shiners just up on the surface. But one thing we didn't notice were the fish chasing them. There wasn't very much of that going on, and so even the bass were kind of like meh.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. So, I guess, we were talking about looking forward to the river this weekend. If anyone has a report, I heard walleyes are picking up. But the other thing is I heard that there's supposed to be more white bass coming through, and that's always a ton of fun. So if you love fishing for white bass or you know anything more about that, hit me up because I haven't done enough of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always really interested in that.
Yeah, white bass would be fun.
Yeah, that's for sure. The other thing that maybe you did or did not notice is our background. Well, we were talking about our camera angles off a little bit today, which is kind of funny. But you can notice that we have, some new stuff in the background. So we have actually quite a few new products that are coming up. But one of the things that makes me think of is greenback case. You can see that Lakewood
Brian
logo.
Schiller, Paddle and Fin podcast. By the way, if you don't listen to that guy, he puts out a podcast every single day of the week.
That's great.
And he has a kid. I don't know how he does that. I don't want to do that. But Brian, you were making fun of us for not having this.
Shut up.
Look it.
So what is this though? I would say like an all-in-one ice fishing case.
Mm-hmm.
But we will tell you a little bit more about that in some episodes coming up because we are going to be talking about prepping for ice season because that's actually not too far away. Yahoo!
Yeah.
But the other thing is it's a great time of the year to be thinking about the products that you are going to be needing for ice season. Drag out your shack, make sure that like mice didn't find their way in there in summer or something crazy. Like go through your things and see if you need line because sometimes it goes on sale between here and then and you want to know that. But some of your bigger gear, if you are looking for a shack this year, if you are looking for some of these bigger items, when you see them, you should go out and, try to get them, try to budget now to have those, have stock in what you need, because last year there was a lot of people that were not able to get the products that they were looking for at the end of last season. And so I am anticipating that there's a lot of people that are going to start the season by kind of restocking up. So some of those things that people are finding, in January, February, or waiting for it to go on sale at the end of the season, that probably will not be happening this year.
Well, and that brings up a good point, and maybe that's what our chat should kind of focus around tonight. Is next week is the last day of summer, Wednesday. like 2 o'clock. That's when fall starts.
Adios, summer.
Adios. So, with that being said, what are the things that you do to get ready for winter time?
Well, I mean, we have like a whole show coming up on this, so I'm not gonna like peek too far ahead.
Oh, I guess we do.
Yeah, we do. In all fairness, I do a lot of the scheduling, but I mean, right now, one of the things that we yeah, that's true. That's the binder. One of the things that we are doing, is we always tend to like go through. Well, we always need to clean out the garage like once summer, right? And that's like where I stuff it. So, in that process, pulling out, the different sleds and shacks and making sure that, the sleds and the high packs bottoms are all just still good to go. I mean, those are easy things, but it gives me a mental list. It's like, oh, do I need auger blades? It's like, well, I have a bunch of time to order them and not the last second, so those things I'm noticing right away. We have an electric auger, so it's not something I have to start up, batteries. We stored it like half power like we were supposed to. So with that lithium power, I don't really have to worry about that even so much. Some of those regular old lead acid batteries, is that what they're called? Yeah, you like charge them up once a month or something, people say, but with those lithium, it's a lot less. Well, it's unfortunately a lot less time with my ice fishing stuff.
Well, one thing I always like to do, I personally like to wash my bibs maybe once or twice throughout the season. Sometimes I don't get to it right at the end of the season, so I do like to go through my bibs and my jacket and see what kind of treasures I forgot in there from last season. That's always fun to look through the pockets and find all kinds of goodies sometimes, unless you're Mike and Selmo. Then it's crusty minnows.
Gross. I did hear that. Gross.
Well, at least our plastics don't get crunchy.
No, they don't. Actually, they never do. Isn't that great? That's why.
Yeah.
That's what I always use. That's perfect.
Yeah. So what else? Should we get some of the other new Lakewood stuff?
Sure.
Okay.
While Josh is doing that, you can kind of see like behind the scenes there. Isn't that funny? Andy, your predator bibs might still stand up in this on their own. The nice thing is that the striker stuff does wash really well. I always like to use a detergent that's like not anything scented, not anything crazy. They sell like free and clear and whatever. That is what I use. And then I just put it through on kind of a gentle cycle. If you do have like a line cutter's device on your bibs, it is best to take that off because I washed it once with it on there and it put like little tiny nicks in the suit. And then that just kind of degrades some of that waterproofing ability. But otherwise, I just hang dry them and they are good to go.
Oh, Andy, you're a hoot. All right. Well, look at this thing.
So, what it actually is, I think they call this a treasure chest. This is new to me. One of the things that's really nice is the boning in here is a little bit like flexy, like so I could almost adjust. When I got this, it was like really flat, but it's actually can be very round to go in a 5-gallon bucket or your live well. And they call this a treasure chest because you put your day's catch in here. And it's really easy to take it to, your fish cleaning shack or, wherever inside onto your table. But a super washable bag. You can even put this in your live well, in your 5-gallon bucket, toss your fish in there, lift them out, good to go.
Yeah. It's a cool little thing. I'm glad that it fits in a 5-gallon bucket. There's all kinds of uses for this.
Well, and this is the smaller version that's like designed for panfish and stuff, but there is also a larger version of this that is meant for your live well for like, especially bass and walleye, or if you're a tournament angler and you want to take that and put it in your bag for a weigh-in or something. Super, super portable, easy devices. So also like folds up really small, or you can keep it in your live well, things that are easy to have around and easy to use. Yeah.
And if you're not into like the foldy bag style, we're all about whatever works for you. The Icewell Live Well, if you've heard of that, they have They're under a new name this year. Well, not a new name. It's still Icewell Livewell, but being manufactured and distributed by Clam. Yeah, super fun. So that also fits in your 5-gallon bucket. So if that's more your speed, throw it in your ice hole. If this is more your speed, there's options out there. So quiet in here. I can hear the crickets through the microphone. Way to keep the silence.
Well, I was waiting to see what you were pulling up there. So what are these?
I don't know. What are they? No, these are the wallets.
Yeah, lure wallets. These are really, really great. These small ones fit into the pocket of your bibs in winter. Also fits really just great in the pockets of your tackle box and stuff all year long. I use especially that small one as like, when I'm switching jigs in the boat and I just for some reason never put the one away, it's always like loose in my box. And so I use that to stick them all there because the nice thing about the inside foam is that you can just hook your hook right to it. And then it's like my, switching box. And then it's either something that I can open really quick and reference if there's something in there that I want, or I can just kind of hang them up really fast and put them away later. So a really, really user-friendly device. And it comes in a few different sizes. Yeah, so this one is obviously too big for your pocket, but it's really nice because the other thing that we have not mentioned, sorry, I don't know how loud that is in the microphone, this middle section also does come out. So you're either able to, put this into your tackle box and then easily stick your stuff or switch it. But the other thing is because then that opens up that much space in this binder. You are also able to then use these pages for, treble hooks or like larger baits, things that you just want to have really quick at hand. Stinger hooks. I think Josh has a whole one of these small ones.
I like having, being that it's still fall, stinger hooks are something that are going to be, just as important as they are in the spring. And I like keeping all of my stinger hooks in there. The other cool thing is it has these little label pouches, so then you can know which wallet is what.
Name them all.
Yep. So that's cool.
That is actually pretty cool. It would be fun to take the insert from the small one and put it in the big one, and then you still have room in the bottom for your larger things, but then you're not like sacrificing your extra page. That's kind of cool. I've never thought about that.
Yeah.
Also perfect thing that if like a young fisherman in your life, that is a really great way to keep like some beginner tackle also. So if you're looking to get somebody set up, and something super portable, things like that make a really great fun birthday gift for people. So go and check that kind of stuff out.
Yeah.
We do also have one more here that we can highlight, but I wish it had something in it because it would have way more effect as far as being a cool product. But
well, you got to start buying me stuff to put in here.
Yeah, or vice versa. This is called the Vault.
The Vault. Look at that. Isn't that neat?
It is actually really neat. So one of the nice things, let's start with Lakewood. First of all, soft-sided hard cases. So all the boxes do look like this, nice and, it's soft-sided. If you throw it around your boat, nothing's going to scratch up your boat or your truck or anything like that. But inside it is totally meant to protect your stuff. And then the bottom of this case is actually really unique. Like you can see there totally through it. And that is for the drainage. Then you will not have things like your hooks rusting or any kind of problems with water retention. If it's raining, that goes straight through. And that is a super nice thing. But the key to the Vault is that you can put in any of those baits that have treble hooks that normally get all kinds of tangled up. Yeah, and they will not fall out. So when you wiggle it around, nothing is moving around. And the condition that you drop everything in is the condition that you can take it exactly straight out. And Josh is showing you they have that drop-in feature. So you just literally put the hooks in there, you drop it, and it falls right in place. And then when you want it again, you just pick it right back up and it's good to go. The other nice thing about these cases is because Josh is showing you that you can take them out, that yeah, I grabbed like the one that doesn't come out. How funny is that? Some of them are stuck in place. But then you can decide the size of the different. There you go. So if you have some wider baits in there, or you don't want them to touch back and front or whatever, so you can choose, or maybe you have a really narrow one, however you set that up. But there's obviously plenty of these plastic dividers for how many baits go in here? I should know the answer to this, people. I'm so sorry. Like approximately 1 million. It's obviously not true. We'll look up the answer. I'm sure that it's right around here.
It really depends on what you're putting in there, right? If you're putting in big spoons, probably just one per slot in here, But if you're putting in tiny little puppet minnows, you could fill each one of these slots. That's 3 times more baits.
Well, and that's the other thing is this is a little bit new to us. And so it's a little bit hard to imagine, how we're going to fill it up. I think sometimes that comes with practice. So I'm really excited to, start putting things in there and kind of put it to practice because we've heard a lot about that case and we're super excited to try it out.
Yeah, I think so.
Excellent. So, if anybody does have any questions about the Lakewood products that we kind of hinted at tonight, definitely let us know. We don't need more tackle. That's funny. Yeah, you just need a way to store all your tackle. Yeah, but if you guys have, any questions, anything that you're thinking, leave that in our comments. We'll definitely still talk about those things as we become more and more familiar with them because we are going to start using them. Some of those products are open water, some cross over into ice, and some are ice only. So that's going to be really fun to transition over and begin to use.
Well, Jay, since you asked, now Emily's obligated to walk us through the new case.
The greenback?
Yeah, I'll grab it. Don't excuse my bright blue shorts.
Okay. So I'm a little bit put on the spot because I gotta say, yeah, Sky's the Limit art. Those are pretty cool. Sky's the Limit art. I'm watching Josh just take these down. You can put them on the shelf over there and then they won't fall.
You can.
I'm rearranging our office. Normally the background isn't a mess and you can't see that, but tonight it is, and now you can see it. So it's like that's pretty funny. But with this greenback, I gotta say, I don't know all the super specifics about it. I do have a Lakewood book here, so let me see if I can bring up some professional information because here's what I can tell you about this awesome case is that it will hold all of your rods, it will hold all of your tackle, it will hold. What else do you need to put in there? We'll hold all of it. It is meant for ice fishing, and it's gonna be awesome. There is pockets on the outside, and actually, this is a really neat pocket because as it opens up, it is kind of a hard case that is underneath. Like this is all rod storage on top, and then this hard case. So you have even really big areas in here that you can store all kinds of different stuff. These big pockets, the rods on top, and then, these cases are like super, super durable. So I know at some point I'm going to have this in the sled and my dog is going to sit on top of it. And it's nice because I'm not going to have to worry about that.
Well, Jay, so when we first looked into our first rod case, that's what we asked Lakewood, and they told us a story about somebody one of their staff running it over, and none of their rods broke. So I think that's pretty good. And then one of the tackle boxes we use, and some of the other musky boxes, like I can stand on it.
And this one. I don't know if we can stand on this one. To be honest, I don't know if that's like part. They call it the Lakewood Tough Challenge. But either way, I know that putting our stuff in there is safe. I'm looking through this case to see if I can find the official information on it. or through this pamphlet.
No, it's all taken apart. I gotta put it all back together so I can stand on it.
I'm really good at opening up all the
All right, so let's see if I can stand on this. Yeah, I'm standing on it.
Yeah, he is standing on it. I would say that this one's probably not meant to be stand on like the other one because it has the foam inserts for support. So like if the rods were in there, I would not stand on it, but I would be very confident in stacking things on
no,
top
I
of
think
it in
you
my
could.
sled.
I think you could stand on it with the rods in there. It didn't squish anything. See, all the foam is still in.
We'll find that out because Sarah Lamson at Lakewood is awesome, and she will tell us if that passes the test.
Well, I just stood on it.
Yeah, he did just stand on it. It did just happen in front of my eyes. Yeah. Jay says don't injure yourself. Yeah. Josh will be fine. Don't injure the new case. No. You can't. The
That's what I
case
just
is
stood on
there.
I just stood on it, and it doesn't even have any supports in the middle. So that was just the zipper holding me up.
Yeah, it's true.
But I mean, this is cool. So if you have, like, I can put my rods in here, you know, that are like this long. And then Emily can put her rods in here that are like this long.
I do like a really short ice fishing rod. But there's also like big pockets you can't really totally see at the bottom and the top. So you can fit tackle boxes like underneath your rods. Or if you have, really large rods with really large reels, that's something that is going to fit in here.
Yeah.
And this holds, what is the length on this? This will hold your ice fishing rod. This is almost as tall as Josh's.
Yeah. Well, you have the thing right there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's in the product catalog. I just looked through the whole thing. I almost got distracted by bow cases and all kinds of good stuff here. There is all kinds of good stuff.
This is one of those things that's meant to go on like the back of your wheeler or the back of your sled. It's a pretty monster case.
Yeah.
Well, come on.
I think
shopping.
Well, I think that box is so new that it's not in this product catalog.
Well, that's okay.
Even this is the ice fishing page.
Let's look
not on it. Oh, Josh is gonna look it up.
Well, we gotta find the answers out. Now you got me intrigued.
Yeah, that's totally true. So if you guys are interested in, new storage solutions for the winter, there's some really great stuff. If you're looking for something that's not quite as large as the greenback, there's a lot of other really great options. And I believe that you can go to the site and you can sort it by ice fishing and not.
There it is. Okay.
Yeah, there it is.
Let's share this puppy. Eric, that is true. I may be short, but I make up for it in width. Okay, so here you go, guys. So this is what we were just looking at, really. So they have blocks in here, so you can customize where your rod handles go. Those big open spots allow your reels to hang down so they're not all squished up. Rod supports.
Well, and even note that there's the extra foam pieces that Josh was kind of looking at, and that does fit nicely between your reels. So, protecting all of your gear totally.
But what was the question? How many?
How long?
How long? Will accommodate rods up to 44 inches.
Longer than that, and you're summer fishing. Get a different case. Get a bow.
Get a bow. That's right. Well, here's another picture. Nice tip up on the top.
Actually, yeah, that's pretty awesome. And you can see that they're able to fit even the vault inside of actually that really big compartment that I was looking at. So, gosh, that's fabulous. That's actually really super cool.
Yeah.
But that fits all together in there like that. That was not an accident, I'm sure.
It's like they designed it for ice fishing.
It's like they wanted it to be useful. Yeah.
It's the ultimate rod case.
That's what it says. Yeah. Oh gosh. Design and fit other Lakewood products inside. Yeah, it does say all those things in there. Okay, we're figuring this out. We should have just read it in the first place. There you go. Oh my gosh. Does come in just the black color this year. So I kind of already teased them about, I know some of their other cases come in green and, other good stuff, but
all good reviews so far.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to having it out on the ice and and using it. So that'll be awesome.
Yeah. Well,
with that, I guess we'll keep you updated on how our situation goes as we load our stuff into that. We could probably post a video because that's always kind of a fun thing to see how we get all of our ice stuff in there. But otherwise, if you guys have any questions about, if you're thinking about getting a Lakewood case, check out the website. Let us know. We're here to help.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So anything else?
Yeah.
No? Okay. Well.
With that, I guess thanks for spending the evening with us. That's always a really good time. And looking forward to actually next week episode because we are going to be doing something a little bit different. Talking with Shotgun Chef. Yeah, Steve Schaefer. So talking about a little bit of cooking and see what he's got going on in the kitchen. So awesome. Looking forward to it and see you guys on next week's episode of The Night Bite.
Night, everybody.